Doghouse Racing League is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen, open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of the West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bars. And don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Are you looking for sports merchandise for your favorite teams, apparel, jerseys, headwear, hard goods, and looking to be involved with NASCAR? Fanatics is your one-stop shop. Fanatics is partnered up with all major professional sports leagues, as well as hundreds of collegiates and pro teams. Join them now at Fanatics. And if you use the link down below in the description, you'll be able to help out the Doghouse Racing League. While using that link, all commissions go to the Doghouse Racing League, which helps fund prizes and goods for the drivers out on track. Thank you so much for Fanatics, and enjoy the show! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Thursday night. Hopefully you enjoyed your 2-week break, because we're back for more racing action for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series Season 1 for 2024. The drivers are set up for the Dag Nabbit 200 here tonight, and drivers might get a little frustrated as they get prepared to tackle the racetrack of Bristol, the last great Coliseum, beating and banging, where the drivers will be tackling this half-a-mile course, high banks, high speeds, and maybe a little bit of high tempers here tonight for 200 laps. The drivers are going to be happy for this time, but with a 2-week break and with this league being open setup league, they had 2 weeks to make sure they've got the best setup for tonight's race. It's under the daytime. The track temps are going to be nice as the drivers get ready for qualifying here this evening. They just got done with practice heading into qualifying at this current time. We're just going to see if we can go trackside and see some of the drivers that are setting up for qualifying, as at this current moment, drivers are getting themselves prepared for who can be up front. The driver that's gotten the pole here at Bristol has only won once of the last 3 times that they've raced at this course, and hoping to do so again, but that one time was all the way back in the summer of 2021, where we saw a driver of Joshua Slate be able to make that run work for himself. He also got most laps led and won here at Bristol. All past drivers that have won have either won just by themselves or last season for the 2023 season 3 led the most laps and won. That was Hunter Simpson that got that victory. Currently top of the board, though, it's Jonathan Jennings in the 91 machine, as Michael Doe in the 50 currently runs in 24th position, trying to make sure this second lap's a little bit faster for the 50 machine, as drivers are already 25 have put down a time. A few going to be sitting in the back, maybe wanting to start in the back, but they do have 2 minutes and 47 seconds left in qualifying. They got 2 laps to put down their fastest time, and each lap less than 15 seconds, almost down to a solid 14 seconds for the pole time of a 14.184 by Jennings. These drivers, all they need is really just about 45 seconds to go out there, and they can put down their 2 qualifying laps. So we might see a handful of drivers wait until the very last moment, as David Halsey, who's been incredible when it comes to qualifying the 57 here this evening, hoping to steal a little bit of the show here tonight, as this is going to be his first lap time for the 57 machine. As we see Halsey first lap, hoping for it to be a good one, and it is a solid lap. 4th on the board for the 57. It is a 14.321, and hoping to grab a little bit more extra pace. Currently just 1/10, a little bit over 1/10 slower than our pole time. Second lap is down, and it's not fast enough to advance in position, but another fast driver just hit the top 10. It's the 12 of Andrew St. Cours that's going to be finding a quick time for his first lap, and the first lap seems to be the faster time around for these drivers currently. One driver, though, missing out on qualifying. 2 laps did not count. That's going to be Joe McKnight, going to have to start in the back, but a few other drivers to watch out for. We got Richard Leclerc might be setting up for a late run, and Nicholas Atwood also going for a late run here in qualifying. We got a minute and 20 seconds left. If you're wanting to get 2 laps in the books, you're got to hit the track here quickly. We've got 5 drivers yet to put a time down. That's Richard Leclerc, Kevin Brown, Gary Maydew, as well as Joe, as well as it was Nicholas Atwood, excuse me. But Atwood just put down his first time, going to be 17th fastest. Richard Leclerc, first lap, going to be a little bit slower, trying to get building up the pace. His first official time that he tried to put down got a little bit squirrely, had to reset his time for the 17th. So we'll see if he can try to crack inside of our top 20. Is going to be Leclerc, as for Nicholas Atwood, his 2 times, 17th fastest. Not a lot of time for himself here this evening, as Richard Leclerc, 31st on the board. That's slowest of anyone on track that's put down a time. Hoping to get a little bit more advancement, but smashes the wall off of 4, and that will take away the validation of his second lap. The 17 will start in the tail end of the field. Joining with them is Kevin Brown, Gary Maydew, and Joe McKnight as the drivers. Finishing up qualifying here, they're also going to have a 5-minute warm-up period, try to figure out where their pit stall is, and as well get themselves a little bit more practice before tonight's race is over. Well, practice is over, qualifying's over, and we would like to say thank you for joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth, might be the full race, might be for part of the race, we've got our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., with us. Robert, thanks for filling in. I know Zach's got some personal reasons why he's not able to show up here tonight. We hope to see him next week, but thank you for joining with me, and it's a fun race to watch. We're here at Bristol.
Oh, no problem, Sam. No problem. I appreciate everybody letting me come, up into their TV and or on their phone and listen to my voice and listen to Doghouse Racing League here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, man. It's going to be a fun time here tonight, Sam. As we get ready to watch a little bit of warm-up here.
The warm-up period is going to be a solid time here, Robert, as they're going to, again, get that little bit of practice time in for themselves, as Jamie Moritz fastest during the first couple of laps. Curious, though, to take a look. I believe we might have it with us here, the standings for the drivers here at the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. As the season up to this point, we've had 7 races. The first race of the season was our qualifying day and a fun race the drivers got to have, and then we've had 6 official races that have been ran, and currently top of the board, it's Michael Hayes in the 22 machine. Right behind him is Kevin Thompson, 3-time winner of this season. He's trying to go for his 4th win, 3rd in a row, as he's been back-to-back for the off week. Nicholas Atwood, who had a spectacular, consistent runs these last couple of races, comes in 3rd in points. Justin McMahon, 4th in points, but we fall down to 6th. Jonathan Jennings, last season's champion and the most winningest driver in the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series, really starting to struggle a little bit here and get some good finishes. Falling off, he's got himself 2 wins this season, but if he's not winning, he's not finishing inside of the top 5. Those are where the big points are at, as the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series, they run with the old NASCAR format. And Robert, no playoffs means you got to be consistent all throughout the season.
Yes. Like you said, that is something totally different that we see in the standard leagues now, because standard leagues, just leagues in general, they run that, what real life NASCAR does. It's a sim, a game, whatever you want to call it. They want to replicate what the real life guys do and how their systems are set up. So 99% of people that, race in leagues do it that way, but not Doghouse. Totally different, old style NASCAR, which I like. I like the old style point systems. It brings back memories of, back when I watched, my NASCAR, faithfully. But yeah, so we'll have to see how it all plays out, Sam. It's going to be very, very interesting.
It's going to be certainly interesting to watch how the season progresses, but let's take a look at how the season's been going so far. Let's take a look at the schedule here this season, as drivers, again, just coming off of a 2-week break where we saw Kevin Thompson find himself in a victory lane. We've also have seen the likes of Jonathan Jennings in victory lane, but here tonight at Bristol for race number 8 of the season, certainly the drivers know it's crunch time. This is officially marking the start of the midway point of the season. So if you are lacking in points, this is the time to make your final push. And looking at the way the point standings were coming into this evening, it's really our top 10 drivers in points that are going to be the favorites to watch out for. We'll see how they're going to be finding themselves. This field grows forward because we've seen a couple of new drivers pop in the last couple of races. We'll see how they influence the points, but obviously Michael Hayes is the driver to watch out for. Still searching for his first win. We'll see if he can find it here tonight, as Hayes was looking fast during practice. But the drivers are coming down their final minute of warm-up period, which gives us a time to shout out the amazing sponsors here for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. If you haven't heard about it already, it's part of the title sponsor, Shoney's. Great place to go get some amazing food in the West Virginia area, as well as go make yourself, you are full. Shoney's is a great place to go to find your all-American kitchen, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's got great guest quality for you with delicious food and, well, warm, friendly service. Stop on by again at one of the West Virginia locations and try out their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar. As Shoney's has been giving you delicious food, friendly service since 1947. Also, I want to say thank you to Group 6. Group 6, rev up your brand's potential with Group 6 at every turn of the Doghouse Racing season. As your creative marketing powerhouse, we're here to fuel up your success, accelerate your impact, and steer your brand towards victory. Group 6, where every race is an opportunity to outshine and outperform. Discover more at group6inc.com. And lastly, I want to give a huge shout out to Fanatics. Fanatics has been partnered up with the Doghouse Racing League, as if you go use the link down in the description, all commissions that you use to go get your merchandise from Fanatics allows there to be a slight commission pay to the league, which helps fund the league, and prizes, as well as many other ways to help the drivers race week in and week out. As a huge thank you to the three major sponsors, again, Shoney's, Group 6, and Fanatics. The drivers are done with practice, qualifying, and the warm-up is done and dusted. It's time for us to get prepared for 200 laps at Bristol as we take a look at your Group 6 qualifying grid. Top of the board, going to be the 91 of Jonathan Jennings, still looking for a win here at Bristol, and he knows he's got the speed to get it done. To his outside, it's Justin McMahon in the 24. Row number 2, we find Andrew St. Cours, as well as Christopher Norris in the 83. Row number 3 and 5th and 6th, it's David Halsey and Christopher Simon. 7th place, we find Steve Gerber, Jonathan Smith, and in 9th, it's Nicholas Schell and Kevin Thompson. We fall to 11th place, where we find David Wilkerson in the 78. He really stepped up his pace after finishing third in points last season. Has fallen off a little bit entering this go around. We'll see if he can find that extra step moving forward. 12th is Raymond Henneman, as well in 13th. It's going to be the 43 of Eric Anderson. Adam Gardner, our Daytona winner to start the season off, will start in 14th. Gary Clune, Rookie of the Year last season, going to be starting in 15th. Jamie Horn starting in 16th position. Nicholas Atwood starting in 17th. Harrison Whitehead in 18th position. Down in 19th is Eric Warman, and Andrew Cork going to be starting in 20th. Down in 21st, it's Michael Hayes, with Michael Doe in 22nd for the 50 machine. Kevin Powell in 23rd place in the 93. And then in 24th, we find the 7 of Gary Armio. Mark Dumont in 25th. Cameron King starting down in 26th position. Bill Gentry in 27th. Michael Menchaca starting back in 28th place. 29th is Leroy Koblitz. In 30th, we find Tony Martin. Kind of surprised to see him qualifying all the way down in 30th. We'll see if the 2 can shine his way through the field. 31st is the 17 of Richard McClare. Again, hit the wall, was not able to get that qualifying time he wanted. And down in 32nd, it's Joe McKnight, Gary Maydew in 33rd, and Kevin Brown finishing off our 34 drivers here tonight. 200 laps in total, no stage break, 0 fast repairs. And Robert, I think the most interesting thing for these drivers here tonight, only 3 sets of tires in pit road. There's a lot of cautions that can influence when drivers want to come in and use those 3 sets.
Oh, most definitely. Because, I mean, look, guys, we're here at Bristol, right? You're going to have beat, banging, hitting. This is Bristol, baby. And, there's going to be guys that are going to get their fenders beat up all over the place, and they're going to have to eventually decide when they want to pit to get that damage fixed. Unless you're out front, then you can get lucky, right?
Yeah, out front is going to be the safest place to be for the first, I would say, 15 to 20 laps of a run, but it's a continuous conveyor belt. If you think of NASCAR this past Sunday at Martinsville, lap traffic, if we get a long green flag run, going to be a huge factor of how the drivers can get through traffic cleanly while also trying to advance in your positions. Don't want to get caught up with any drivers around you, but field is set. We're ready for action. It's going to be Jonathan Jennings, Justin McMahon up front. Looking at the pass, again, this league here at the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series ran at Bristol 3 times before tonight. And those 3 races, first time they ran, they had only 3 cautions. Second time, 0 cautions. But last season, a total of 6. What type of Bristol race are we going to be finding ourselves here tonight? Well, time to get a good sense of how the field is going to be attacking here tonight, as the Dag Nabbit 200 is underway, and it's Jonathan Jennings on the outside getting a great run for himself, but McMahon not giving up. He'll stay steady as they hit the backstretch.
They hit the backstretch, and you're going to see some guys are going to try to get in line here, Sam, and some are not, and some are going to go 2 by 2 as we're watching Steve right now in that number 10. He's whipping it around the top here, and then you also got the 38 of Christopher Norris. No, wait, no, that's not Christopher Norris. What number is Christopher Norris?
That's Raymond Henneman. It's going to be in that 38
Whoops,
machine. I know
for
us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, 38 has been Christopher Norris's number in a handful of leagues that we've covered. So it is kind of jarring at times when we see different drivers and numbers we're used to. Christopher Norris is going to be in the 83, currently in 3rd place at this moment. But yeah, that 10 is Steve Gerber, currently in 10th place, but trouble going to be happening further on back. It's in turn 3 and 4. The 33 of Kevin Brown and the 2 of Tony Martin going to be caught up in a mess as our leaders just close in onto the incident.
Yeah, you can see Kevin Brown here. We'll go back and watch here on the replay, Sam. But yeah, you can see that he doesn't have no front end here right now as we go back here on the replay. See what happens to him. He's going into... Let's see.
It's going to be the 2 right in front of him. Watch out for Tony Martin. Martin's going to be getting a little bit of a push by Menchaca in the 34. It's going to be coming into turn 3 here as they hit the front stretch. You're seeing them starting to battle back and forth, trying to slot themselves where they're going to feel the most comfortable. But the 2 of Martin slices up, gets himself pinched, and then drivers start slamming into one another. And there's the heavy contact to Brown and Martin, and both going to deal with some major damage and also require damage for the both of them. They're sent into pit road. No fast repair. You have to sit in pit road and manually get that repaired.
Yeah, and that stinks now, you know, because, you know, now they got to manually sit with lap number, that happened on lap number 4 of 200. It's going to be a long night for them, gentlemen. So, but, you know, it's not all about the aerodynamics here at Bristol. You can race, you know, with some damage. Now, I think that's a little excessive damage there, Sam. But, you know, if you do get beat up every, you know, a little bit, wrinkle here, wrinkle there, the car still will run fine, too. So we'll have to see, you know, what they can do for the rest of the race, because it's going to be, unfortunately, a long night for them guys.
It certainly will be, and because they've got required damage, the amount of front-end damage, it's going to make these drivers stay in pit road for quite a long time. Tony Martin, first driver to hit pit road, he still sits in there, currently 2 laps down, going to be more. He's gotten done with his required damage, but might find himself being done with service.
We lost
shocking, Christopher Norris goes into pit road as he made a daring move in there, and I think, like you said, might have been lost on Christopher Norris, might have taken a tow to make sure he didn't get any other drivers in contact after a quick blink.
Yeah, he blinked out, because I seen him blink out, go down, and then all of a sudden he was in pit road. So, yeah, I mean, good for him to, you know, to get out of the way at least, and not mess anybody up. And still, it's early in the race. If you go a lap down, 2 laps down, you can get those laps back. I mean, you know, you just got to stay out of all the carnage, you know, throughout the night. But you can, you know, get your laps back. So, you know, it's don't give up here. You know, that this early into the race.
Yeah, but for Christopher Norris, because he took a tow, he's going to be in pit road for quite a long time.
Yeah.
That might be forcing the 83 to go at least 3 to maybe even 4 laps down by the time that this crew gets going. And also just was told under the driver's channel, sorry, PC issues. He hopes to be
Oh.
coming back here soon, but unfortunate to see a driver that was in third place before the caution flag came out. Luckily, I would say he had the PC issues that kind of forced him to go to pit road sooner than later. I mean, like you said, very early in the race, you could recover from that. He didn't look like the 83 hit anything, but he is going to go multiple laps down. He's going to need some help from some cautions, and highly unfortunate for one of the top contenders coming into tonight's race, which, you know, it bumps up a few drivers now, get slotted into third position. You got Christopher Simon in the set 27, as well as Andrew St. Cyr up to fourth, and now into our top 5 is Jonathan Smith in the 99, hoping for a solid run. As we enter the restart zone, we're back to green flag racing, and Dag Nabbit 200 is back underway, and that might be what Norris was screaming once he had to disconnect, as the drivers up front is Jonathan Jennings, Justin McMahon sending it down into turn number 3.
Send it down to turn number 3. And you know what? I got to give these guys props here as we're watching that number 27 there. He's got a lot of vehicles trying to ride with him, but you know, the high line is the way to go. But you know what, Sam? Every time you say it, I think of the Bucks Bunnies. When you say Dag Nabbit.
That's exactly what it is. I got to do it with the intensity.
Yeah, I love it. It's just a great name. Good name of calling the race, Dag Nabbit, because it is Dag Nabbit Bristol, baby.
Oh, it's going to be causing a lot of people frustration, and they're going to be hoping that they stay on the clean side of things throughout tonight. But it is getting hot and heavy currently in the mixture of drivers racing in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Right on screen, it was the battle going on for 5th place, having David Halsey on the inside. Outside is the 99, Jonathan Smith. They battle off the X in this racetrack so quick. In an instant, you are on the brake pedal, off the brake pedal, you are on the throttle, constantly moving a half-mile in distance, and Robert, is just chaos waiting to happen when these drivers are at full song like they are right now. Those engines are roaring, but everyone's still jam-packed, and soon be lap traffic in front of this group, as watch out for the 17 of Richard Leclerc, about to be really put in the squeeze as these drivers go 3 wide by lap traffic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Lap traffic can really bottleneck this up if you get caught. As the 99 gets a 27.
No!
It's the big
There's
one.
the big one right in front of the field. Everyone's trying to slow down. They just continue to pile in, and it goes from bad to worse. They're still piling in.
Oh, there's nowhere to go.
No! Gridlock on the entry of turn 3.
Whip it. Oh my God.
The leaders have to come to a standstill as they've caught up to the tail end of the mess, and drivers got to be careful getting up to speed and catching up to the leaders because everyone's still stopped on the back stretch.
Yeah, I don't even know what car to go to on the replay, ladies and gentlemen, so we're just gonna, okay, give me a second.
Is a 27 of going to be Simon, who got spun. He's currently in 12th position at this moment. They were racing aggressively, but here's going to be a shot of what it was like coming into this mess, as the drivers were just running again, like I said, at full song, running aggressively, and everyone's so jam-packed, still 2 wide, almost 3 wide through the middle of the field.
Yeah,
and then one bad mess. You see the smoke, you hit the brake, you hope you slow down, but then it just closes in quickly.
Oh, wow.
That's probably the safest you can get through. Everyone else chose wrong, went high. The middle was the way to go.
Way to go, Kevin. He got lucky, though, you have to say here.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, that was carnage here, but we'll see if we can maybe go back a little bit more with the 27 here now, Sam.
And this was all battling around the 27 of Christopher Simon, the 99 of Jonathan Smith, and Halsey on the inside group. And these drivers talked about how aggressive they'd been. They were on top of one another. They were getting by lap traffic. It kind of was the squeeze that kind of spooked them a little bit, as you saw drivers trying to get by Leclerc. Just giving an opportunity for the 99 to go low, but he didn't hold his line. He just drifted up into Simon, and then it all went awry of everyone trying to pick and choose which was the opening. There was only a couple of open slots. Everyone just piles in, slowing down for the week. We'll see if we can just muscle our way through.
I wouldn't even try to muscle my way through. Look, 38 just got lost his rear end, the 20 front end. I mean, the 27 lost his front end, and then you just got a lollygog of cars just sitting here in the turn trying to figure out where to go.
Luckily for some, that was crazy about how disastrous that all looked. The amount of smoke, the amount of drivers piling in. There are just a couple of drivers with required damage having to come in to get major repairs done. That being Christopher Simon, who had to take a tow. Jonathan Smith also had to stay in pit road for quite a long time. Just entering pit road is going to be Mark Dumont. Rest of the field, they survived what we used to call these vehicles tanks. I mean, I felt like for months now, they can take a beating as long as you don't hit the wheel wells and the front ends doesn't get a hard contact. You should be able to continue racing on. Let's say most of the field, they're going to be still able to race on.
They're going to be able to race on. I mean, that's a good thing, but holy mackerel. I mean, we say beating and banging at Bristol. They just took it to another term. I mean, we're talking beating and banging, not that beating banging. Woo!
Oh, man. It certainly was a mess still in pit road. It's going to be Christopher Simon, another driver that was out front inside of our top 5. Going to have to deal with major repairs, and he is taking the tow, just about to get service started on the 27. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but for the rest of the field, it's green flag racing as Jonathan Jennings takes off and takes a huge run, and now it's going to be our top 5 trying to pull away, and we got the ride along with Kevin Thompson of how he got through the mess, and he's going to try to continue his way forward as these drivers feeling confident on their way on the outside. That's going to be Halsey with a huge run, working the outside groove, trying to make the pass for third.
Hey, gonna make the pass for third here. As you see him get a little twitchy coming out of 4 there, but here or turn. I don't know what turn we're in because I'm trying to do other things here, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, you know, the high line is the way to go right now, Sam. You know, you can really run the speeds up there, but you do burn off the tires up there, so you got to pick and choose. Do you want to run the top or the bottom?
Yeah, and we talked about drivers throughout this season. Twisted Axle has been the team on tire saving and tire management when it comes to the long run. Currently looking at that of Andrew St. Clair, in 4th place, who's currently trying to have his great run. As we look at the middle of the field, drivers just inside of our top 10, you got Wilkerson as well as Shell. Michael Hayes is stuck in the middle of this mixture. There's some drivers that are just trying to make it through this mess of the front ends. I mean, the front end damage on Wilkerson there was massive on the 78, but looks like the RPMs are still at almost 100%, and he's able to continue to race on.
Yeah, front end damage, yeah, it's probably going to slow him down a little bit, but again, the straightaways are not that long, so, you know, they don't really have to worry about it as we go back here, and we're going to look at the number 41 here and see where he's how he's running. And you know, you got a choice here too, Sam, just to ask you. I haven't did Bristol in the next gens, you know, race them wise, but is it more recommended to run 4th gear or 5th gear?
I mean, for most of these drivers, I think they're going to be sticking in 4th gear for themselves, as the gear ratios, when you come to short tracks, it's primarily 4 gears you're working with. But for some drivers, because this is an open setup league, you can mess with the gear ratios a little bit more, and you can choose if you want to have a 5-gear ratioed vehicle or a 4-geared ratio. And looking at our driver that's up front for myself, it looks like for Jonathan Jennings, he's working with the 5-gear ratio for tonight's race, and we'll see if any of these drivers want to change it up as the run progresses forward on if there's any gear changing as the runs move on and there's a little bit more tire wear. As the driver's going to have issues up front, it's David Halsey in the 57 dropping quickly for himself, as it looks to be the 57 just exiting out of turn number 4, broke loose. Luckily didn't hit the wall too hard on the inside pit wall, and he'll drop from battling for 3rd all the way down to 19th.
Ouch. One little mistake, and that's what you get here at Bristol. I mean, because these cars are on top of each other, you know, left and right here. So, you know, you one little mistake, you can lose, you know, at a normal track, 1-2 positions. But here at Bristol, you're going to lose, you know, as you just seen, 10 positions easily, as we still got cars back here beating and banging with Gary Maydew back here and everybody else. But I just wanted to look at the temperature here tonight too real quick here, Sam, and air temperatures at 76, track temperatures at 88, not bad. In sim time it is 5:26 p.m. So we're getting, that's the 17 in front.
St. Clair back up into the wall, and in an instant goes, Atwood. Oh, that's a huge collision as well for Gary Maydew into the water barrels.
Wow.
And that is most likely a race over wreck for the 19.
Wow. Let's see if we can get the replay on that one there, Sam. See what he was seeing, because that wreck was way ahead of him, as you can see here.
There were two separate wrecks that happened. There was the initial one with St. Oh, that is hard. Like, there was the initial one with Richard Leclerc, excuse me, who found himself being tapped and spun around, it looked like. And then everyone else was trying to react to get around that 17 machine. And then there was another wreck in front of going to be Gary Armio, who found himself being spun around. And
he tried to slow down and try. Oh, nowhere to go. Oh!
He thought he found an opening. It's filled up quickly.
Yeah, with
An
water.
instant, it was water barrels or hit another car and decided, I'm going to ruin my race and not someone else's. Sadly, the driver's race is also over. If Gary Maydu's called it a night, he's left the server. Everyone else can come into pit road, and now we start counting, Robert, of how many drivers are going to be left at the end of this race. We're just 38 laps in of 200.
Yeah.
We've already seen some massive collisions here this evening.
Yeah, welcome to Bristol. I'm going to say that again all night. Bristol. I mean, it's insane what this track can do. It's a fun track to race, but it's grueling sometimes here, because we're only 39 laps into this right now, Sam, and showing on the race reports, we're already up, like you said, three cautions with 13 laps of that 39 being under yellow.
Yeah, and there could be a couple of factors to attribute to these early wrecks happening. Again, I talked about how last time they were here for last season in the 2023 Season 3, they had a total of 6 caution during that 200 lap race that they had. But tonight, it comes off of a 2-week break that these drivers just had. They have not been on track for 3 weeks in total.
Right.
And they've been working for those 2-week break of getting these setups perfect. Antsy to get on track with some of these drivers, and to have the comeback race be a short track, that's a tough track to come back to with drivers being antsy to get back to racing it and get back to that full rhythm that you're used to racing around some of these drivers.
That, and I think iRacing's tow trucks, I think they're busy doing something else, because there's a vehicle sitting.
I believe that's Gary Armio that's got the end of the line penalty, so he's waiting for everyone to pass him, and then he's gonna slot right behind him. So he was being told to sit and wait.
Okay, I was like,
it was protocol for the 7 machine.
Okay, good deal, because I was like, he's waiting for a tow truck. Apparently, he's not coming.
No, I mean, with some of these big wrecks, I would be surprised. I think in real life racing, we might have had a couple of red flags already.
Yeah.
Try to get some of these messes cleaned up. But for the field up front, they're ready to get back to green flag racing. It's Jonathan Jennings, Justin McMahon, Andrew St. Cour going to be your top 3, and they've been up front all race long. Now joining with them going to be Kevin Thompson, and then the driver that we were actually right on board with of Kevin Powell going to be in the mixture. And Gary Clune ready for a good run. Pace car to pit road, though, and the Dag Nabbit 200 is back underway as Jonathan Jennings, fabulous launch like he's had for almost every restart this season. But the rest of the field trying to hold on steady as you see Bill Gentry as well is going to be almost clipping Clune. And now the 22 of Michael Hayes is moving up further and taking every position possible.
Yeah, he's moving up farther, and watch out for this driver here, though, because he's been fast, all season long. That's 58. Gets into the wall a little bit, but yeah, this 22 vehicle, I wouldn't count him out yet, though, Sam.
I wouldn't either, but the driver's falling back. A little bit of issues for Eric Anderson. Black flag for 43. Had to pull into pit road and serve that penalty under green. That's tough because when you have to pull into pit road, you are for sure going 2 laps down. And if there's a hold penalty, you're going at least 4 laps down. It looks like that's exactly what happened to Anderson. So Eric Anderson expected to go 4 laps down. He'll drop all the way down to 29th as we right on board with the 22. Michael Hayes, our points leader, coming into tonight. And the only driver with finishing in the top 10 every race, but we're having trouble behind. It's Nick Lachelle being spun around.
Alrighty, well, hopefully everybody's enjoying some Bristol because, cars are going to start you know, falling off, you know, eventually here, Sam. But you know, this is something else here. So we'll have to see if we can find the replay. You said it was
It's going to be
Shell.
it was Shell and Bill Gentry were the two drivers. So the four that coming up to this wreck. So it's going to be about a lap and a half after we watch this replay. We're going to see the incident as the drivers were side by side with one another, and they stay side by side for quite a while. And it's so tough to make these passes. I mean, like we said, the outside's got the better run off the exit of the corner, but when you have a driver defending like we're seeing Gary Clune, boxing you in, nowhere really to go, but then the exit of the corner, net code. That's, holy smokes, was that a lot of net code? Over a foot that just shipped that going to be Shell around 58. Whew. I mean, he's still driving and able to stay off the wall for both drivers. That's the most important thing for both.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was some major net code. Heck, me and you could walk in between that. We can call
it. Don't even have to go sideways. We can just go straight in.
Netty code.
I am not saying that. Nope, that's all you.
No, it's Netty code. What's wrong with Netty?
No.
No. Okay. What would you make it?
We're just gonna stick with what it's called. That's.
You're. Yeah.
I'm killing your fun today.
Yeah, like everybody out in chat, get on Sam, say like, come on, what's wrong with Netty code? Netty code, right? Netty professor? Nutty professor? Is that what it's called?
Oh no.
Well, it's okay. It's okay, Sam. I'll get back to you. Know, we're on a caution.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll throw it to brainstorming. We'll throw it to brainstorming. As we just got a report in chat of Nicholas Atwood. 8 minutes required.
Wow.
10 minutes of optional. That is a long time to be sitting in pit road. We hate to see that happen to Atwood.
Yeah.
Again, was trying to make the move. Saw an opening. That was a couple of cautions ago, and the water barrels were the ultimate destination of where the night landed. As we are officially 50 laps in the books, and Robert, we might have had a lot of cautions so far, but we're a quarter of the way through. We still have 3 quarters left. But first quarter, certainly not the race some of these drivers were hoping for.
No, I don't think so, Sam. They were hoping for a little bit, you know, the ones that were involved, of course, into the stuff that happened here with the yellows. That's not what they were hoping for here. But the guys that are out front and, you know, at least didn't get no damage and things like that. Yeah, they're happy that they didn't get the damage, but I'm sure they want to be racing and not going around under yellow. But we'll have to see how this all plays out here for these guys here at the Dag Nabbit 200. But it will. I think things will eventually settle down. Like you said, taking 2 weeks off. Some people might have actually took that 2 weeks off and didn't race at all. We don't know how many, but you know, just take that 2 week break away from the game and get ready to come back and run out the season, you know, to your summer break here at Doghouse Racing League.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough start of the season for drivers, and actually taking a step away can't help. When you're race back after a 2 week break, being a short track, be tough to resettle. We're back to green flag racing. Jonathan Jennings up front, great launch for himself. A little bit of a jam up deeper in the middle of the field, but a huge launch by the 24, Justin McMahon. What a run on the outside. And with the driver staying low, they don't get that initial run, and McMahon wants the lead badly. The 24 just inching closer and closer each time he exits out of these corners. That go around didn't get the best launch out of 2, and instead Jennings lots in a perfect position, and they're going to be stuck 2 by 2, about 3 rows deep behind our front 2.
Yep, they're 3 rows deep, but watching here, that 24 is now finally going to fall in line here and try to follow, but he's running that high line. Now, again, you know, we go back to the traditional way of Bristol, right? I mean, everybody that races, you know, iRacing knows, okay, if you run the high line, you're going to be faster, of course, but you're burning up your tires faster. If you run the low line, you know, you don't burn your tires up as fast because you're getting pinched off the turn, or you're just taking it easy to save tires for the long run. But the thing is that this is open setup. That vehicle, the 24, could be set up to run that high line and save tires.
Yeah, and we've had tons of cautions popping up that were really able to save some of these tires for the drivers that are enjoying that outside lane, as watching some battling going on for 8th, 9th, and 10th place. currently seeing Daniel Wilkerson, Jamie Horn, Gary Clune can be on top of one another here as the 78 trying to make his way past and not worry about the likes of Jamie Horn. And Horn, we've seen run well at the short tracks at the start of the season. I think back to the Clash when we were at Fairgrounds, Nashville Fairgrounds, and then also the last couple of short tracks we ran at Iowa. And this 98 is usually very quick in the short runs. It's the long runs where he was having trouble. I'm curious if maybe these teams made adjustments setting up for this longer run that we have right now.
Yeah, and that's the question that you go in building an open setup. Okay, we're at Bristol.
Trouble.
Never mind. I will get back to that later.
Trying to figure out exactly where the issue is. That'll be the question. So I was going back and checking out some other drivers, and didn't see one driver been out, but we will wait and see if there is an incident that pops up that lets us know what brought out that caution. But for right now, I'm not seeing exactly what brought it up.
Yeah, we're not being triggered here in the back of the software either, so
it looks to be an admin thrown start.
Admin thrown yellow?
I believe so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're back under yellow on lap number 62 of 200. So now people are starting to come in, make some pit stops, probably going to fine-tune their vehicle, do a little bit of adjustments of what they need. You know, different tire pressures, shocks, whatever they need to do. You know, try to get their car a little bit more stable, or, you know, maybe it's too stable and they need to loosen it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think for a majority of the drivers, we still have a few that are deciding to stay out on track, some hitting pit road. I think, Robert, this might be the best time. Admins throw yellow. That'd be the time for us to also take a break as well up in the booth, as we've had a ton of chaos here tonight as the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series coming back after a two-week break. And race number 8's been a fun one to watch for the Dag Nabbit 200 here tonight. Hopefully you do not leave. We'll be back right after this for more Bristol racing action.
They're 5 wide behind her pit. Oh my, the 5 wide here. This ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here. Coming off a 4. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes. I know Carter gets run. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trying to drive it down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck him.
Oh, they wrecked. They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes in the 28. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth, doing a little bit of double duty, is Robert Moyer Jr. Also running productions is Robert Moyer Jr. As you're watching the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series, pace car into pit road. We're back to green flag racing for the Dag Nabbit 200 here tonight. There's been a lot of wrecks and chaos to start out our first quarter of the race. But up front, it's all been Jonathan Jennings as well as Justin McMahon. And McMahon's been trying to figure out any way to get by this 91. Hasn't found the solution just yet, but one driver's going to fall backwards. Trouble for the 22. Our points leader spun around. Another driver's getting caught up in messes. And a huge pile up on the exit of turn number 4.
Oh, man. It just went back green, too. So, well, let's see what happens here.
Well, there were two separate incidents. There was Michael Hayes, who got sent into the pit wall off the exit of turn 4. There's where he lies after the restart. Then there was another pile-up. Drivers on the exit of turn 4. Trying to figure out who exactly that driver was. So we take a look at this replay. I'll let you know, Robert, who the other driver was.
Alrighty, like we're watching this replay of the 22 here. He's going down into the turn, and looks like the number 4 got him, and head on into the wall. Yikes.
That was the initial launch and the big wreck for the 2,200 points leader. Not a night that he was hoping for, but then there was a separate incident that was even worse than that for the 42 of Leroy Koblitz in 6th place. Heavy damage for himself and other drivers, as we're going to be seeing their second incident that happened under this caution. And a lot of drivers were hoping to get by the 42 as you see the 22 go off track. The 4 says hello, another net coder bump, and that's right in front of the field. More contact, and then starts spinning as everyone tries to avoid, but no, and every other one else not able to do so.
I hate to unfortunately say this, but Bill was involved in both of those incidents.
Sometimes you're just a magnet for races,
Yeah.
and Bill was the magnet for that race.
Yeah, he was.
Restart right there.
Yeah, he's like, look, guys, if I can't win, I'm gonna take you out. No, joking.
I don't think that's exactly
No,
what was
but I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
But it's just one of those moments that you see with drivers where you're running your own race, and then it just feels like the madness can't get away from you. You're kind of the eye of the storm.
That happens.
Or maybe it's calm around you, but the chaos all around.
That happens, and sometimes you're gonna, and we might even see it here, with Doghouse Racing League, Sam. Where drivers just can't get away from each other. It's race in and race out. It just seems they wind up at the same spot at the same time. And it's not that they're out there purposely trying to take each other out of a wreck or whatever, but it's just racing gods are saying it's this way right now.
Yeah, it's tough for some of these drivers. We're 70 laps in, and we'll give you an update on some drivers that are some of our biggest movers so far here tonight. We'll start from the top. Biggest mover so far inside of our top 10 goes to 5th place runner Kevin Powell. Powell started back in 23rd position, up 18 spots. Then another big mover is all the way down in 12th place, Joe McKnight, who was unfortunately not able to get a qualifying time in. But right now the 51 up to 12th, 11th, up 21 positions from where he qualified. Those are some of your biggest movers of drivers inside of our top 15. And they're hoping to continue to move forward for now. But talked about one driver, speed is there for the 98, Jamie Horn. He's now up to 5th place. Hoping to grab maybe a couple of more spots as we get prepared for the restart. And here we go. We're green once again for the Dag Nabbit 200 here at Bristol. Race number 8 back underway as we inch closer to the halfway zone, where we know the intensity is going to rise even more. The drivers up front are top 9 yet to pit here tonight, and they're still on those older tires.
And how long are they going to go? As the heat cycle for them tires went up and down, up and down, up and down with all the yellows that we had here. So they can really, use up these tires, majority of this race here. But I was just watching that restart from the 91, and man, did he ever take off. And if he keeps doing that all night, Sam, these guys in the back, second, third, whoever it is, they need to figure out how to jump it with him, because once he pulls out like this, they're not catching him.
They really aren't, and with the fact that this season we've had 3 overtime attempts, and overtime attempts, they only get 1 at the end of these races. If you're up front, you've got complete control on the restarts, and most likely you're going to win the race if you're in that lead spot, unless you figure out that jumping is going to try to stay up front and challenge some of these drivers up front. As our front going to be 7 drivers in line. Chaos, though, mounting up back in 9th place, and they are so clogged up right now. I'm getting nervous, Robert. This might be the sign of our next wreck to happen, because seeing a lot of drivers, especially Nicholas Schell in the 58, he's had a couple of wobbly moments of almost being ran over by drivers right behind him.
Yeah. Here we go. We got one car getting loose, and there goes to 10. Man, that's Steven.
And he's got oncoming traffic heading his way. Luckily, everyone else is able to avoid the 10. But that will be another spin wreck. And Steve Gerber sends us back to qualifying, and we've got ourselves some disqualifications. Too many incident points for Harrison Whitehead and Richard Leclerc. Their races are done.
Oh, yeah, that's something we didn't talk about, did we, Sam, yet? But here's a replay, and I think the 10 reacted to a car getting into the wall, and he wasn't sure where to go, as we're going to see here on this replay here. Give it a second here. Yeah, it's coming right up here, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see it.
It's really closing in on top of one another, right behind.
Right there.
Be David Halsey and tap, spin, slide, and really looked like the 10 kind of lost it on his own. But then watch out for the oncoming traffic. The contact of the two drivers that were on the outside, driving by the 10.
Who was that?
That was Whitehead and Leclerc. They both made contact on the entry of turn 1, and that contact disqualified both those drivers.
Holy mackerel! He never. Well, I don't even know if he had time to slow up.
It's hard to slow down with how small this track is to make those moves.
Wow, man, he went flying through there like a spaceship.
Now we're starting to build up a graveyard of vehicles here tonight. Gary Maydew was called in an evening. Also, the 7, George Armio had left earlier. Mark Dumont's out of this race with the disqualification. Richard Leclerc's out. Too much damage for Michael Hayes. He's called it a night, and now it's going to be Harrison Whitehead. His disqualification is out of this race. And we're now down to drivers that are on track racing. Not everyone that's on the lead lap, but on track racing, we only have about 27 drivers still out there on track when we started with 34.
Started with 34, right. Yeah, exactly. So, just something to update the fans out there if you're just first tuning in here and you're watching, iRacing at its first time here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Explain to them a little bit more, Sam, on the incident points, because that's something that we don't cover a lot of, and we don't see a lot of that happening.
Yeah, incident point limits are very rare in a lot of leagues nowadays. A lot of drivers have kind of removed away from that system, but here in the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series, they have an incident limit that's pretty strict. You can only grab 17 incident points.
Ooh.
The ways that you grab incident points is by hitting the wall. If you hit it too aggressively, it grab too much damage on your car, you can grab 1 incident point up to 4 incident points. If you hit other drivers, you can grab anywhere from 0 incident points up to 4.
Right.
And that's just by 1 contact. You can grab up to as many as you can in 1 incident.
Yeah.
If you hit a driver and then they wreck, that also gives you an incident point. Also, if you spin out, go out of control, that is a way to grab 1 incident point. So there are a lot of factors to get it.
Yeah.
And if for these drivers, if you get up to 17 incident points, you're out of this race. And with the big one that we had earlier for our 2nd or 3rd wreck of the night, some drivers mounted up to most likely 8 to maybe 10 incident points just based off that 1 wreck.
Just out of 1 wreck, right? Because they ran into somebody and then somebody ran into them, which they get could be up to ×4, which is not their fault, but we're not going to get into that. But that explains how the incidents work on iRacing. So, but we're getting ready to go back green here. Pace car is going to be ducking in on lap 83 of 200 here, with the Dag Nabbit 200 is back under green.
And a few drivers, major drivers, hitting pit road. Justin McMahon, Jonathan Jennings, both entering pit road under this most recent caution, leaving us with the twisted axle team. Oh no, wreck in front! It's going to be seeing Eric Warman up into the outside wall. Now Joe McKnight going to be spinning in the front of the field. And then it's another gridlock pile up. They're all coming in. No one's hitting the brakes. Everyone wanting some more instant points. And we watch the scoring tower. Who may be disqualified this go around?
Yeah, clip it. And don't forget to use our clip tool there on YouTube. We'll explain a little bit later on that. But, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to go.
It looked to be, initially it was the 34 of Warman, I believe, that got spun around. And then it was Joe McKnight in the 51 that got major contact. The field just slots in, nowhere to really to go for a lot of those drivers. And there's Eric Warman, and it's just you had a few drivers up front willing to make some big moves, big contacts, slipping and sliding, and the big one strikes again. We've had so many massive pile-up wrecks here this evening.
Yeah, and it could be a lot to do with the way they have the brake bias set up too, and because it's a 51, okay, we
Nah, that
got
was
it
just
there.
straight up hit, and then gets piled in from behind as well. And then everyone else
Look
just
out!
trying but not able to
Oh.
slow down. And
We have to ride with Bill.
Bill certainly had a moment.
Yeah, again.
And that hard contact actually going to be giving Daniel Wilkerson required damage, Eric Warman required damage, and
Nowhere
David
to
Halsey
go.
required damage.
Nowhere to go. Oh.
Hoped that the seas would part. They did not.
Nope.
And major front end damage to the 4, but he'll continue to race on. Just optional damage for the 4 machine, but the drivers that he hit all forced to pit road.
Yeah, I think the 4 are probably going to say, you know what, the race has been really not good for me here tonight, and I'm just going to keep riding, which I don't blame him, but man, poor Bill. It's what are we oohing about?
Well, all of my information of who had black flag penalties, required damage penalties, all just got wiped because everyone just got their black flags cleared. Because we haven't been able to stay green long enough, drivers that had drive-through passes or come into pit road holding penalties, those penalties can only be served when we're green. We haven't been green long enough, so all those drivers not able to serve their penalties. So race admin said, you know what, we're just going to clear all penalties. So all drivers that had a black flag, they're cleared, and you're able to hold your position you're in right now.
You know what? I don't blame it. You know, people would serve their black flag, but if you can't stay green going into, go green and turn number 1 coming out of 2 or whatever, and you're back under yellow, how's those drivers supposed to serve their black flag? And then after a while, the game is not seeing this and doesn't relay it back into the system, and they can get, that black flag can get them DQ'd.
Yeah, you don't want to get disqualified because of not getting a black flag penalty served. But in the chat, Zach Hull saying he's on his way. We can't wait to have you back up in the booth, Zach. I know you're trying to get over here as soon as possible.
He's driving 80 miles per hour home.
I'll give credit to the drivers with the caution flags have been coming out. It has enabled Zach to maybe have a chance to be here in the last quarter of this race if the timing lines up. Update though on drivers that are on track currently. 2 drivers yet to pit here tonight. That's going to be Andrew St. Cours as well as Kevin Thompson, your front 2 drivers up front. Everyone else has either hit pit road 40 laps ago or just under our second to last caution we just had, as a launch for St. Cours on the outside. Great launch for the 12. The 6 going to follow in line, but everyone kind of stacking up from 6 on back.
Stacking up on 6 on back, but like you said there, Sam, the top 2 have not pitted yet, and now the question comes, how long are they going to stay out on 91-lap old tires?
And the longer they wait to enter pit road, the further on back in the field they're going to be, as some drivers going to be entering into their pit stall. As Tony Martin's going to stay on the apron. See on screen here, it's going to be Raymond Handyman trying to figure out how to get by Leroy Koblitz, who was involved with some major incidences, I believe 2 cautions ago, and now going to be seeing the 38 trying to make his own moves, as well as some other battles on track. Here's the 50 of Michael Doe, as well as seeing our Rookie of the Year last season, Gary Clune, trying to move his way forward. And talked about older tires, how are they going to be influenced?
Wow.
Fastest lap of the race goes the driver on the oldest set of tires.
Okay, is Bristol acting like the tire set like in road course racing here?
I think it's just because we haven't ran enough green flag pits, green
true.
flag laps, that the tires just haven't gotten to that critical factor of they're just worn down too much. I think it's more fuel on why you would enter pit road than tires at this point. The field is able to get a little bit of a long green flag run, the longest run we've had so far. But for how long will this hold out for? As Koblitz gets into the outside wall, Justin McMahon trying to slot his way forward to stay in touch with the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. And the top 2 dogs from earlier in the race now going to be moving up to 4th and going to be moving up to 4th and 5th as Justin McMahon trying his best to run down the 91. And both came into pit road at the same time. And really, Robert, looking at how this field's been driving, this long green flag runs, got to be feeling a little bit more comfortable if you're able to space out away from one another.
Yeah, and these guys here, if you can get spaced out here, Sam, that is, the way to go here.
Trouble, though, going to strike, and it's Raymond Handyman. Hard contact, falling down the field quickly as we stay green, but it's hard contact for the 38. Hits the inside pit wall off the exit turn 4. And now going to be continuing to race forward, but again, staying green, even with that incident we just had.
Staying green, well, that's a good thing as we stay green here, and we're watching these guys that just pitted, you know, the 91 here and the 24 here. We're watching these guys that just pitted here. Horn, Adam Gardner, you know, 20 laps. So we'll have to see how they can work their way up through the field here, Sam. And like you said, the longer we get, the spaced out more that we get, the better off they are, and they can utilize their setup and tires here to work up as we are 101 laps into it. But we do got Justin's webcam up here, as everybody can see him running around.
Yeah, trying to stay focused, hit his marks here at this track.
We
Not
are.
a lot of hoping to, you know, in mile-and-a-half tracks, sometimes even 2-mile tracks, you can get a little bit more giddy, more talkative with your teammates. Here in the short track racing, though, it is ultimate focus all the time as 24 will get by Joe McKnight as McKnight now falls to 5th place on the board. Leaders continue to battle back and forth. It's the teammates, Core, Thompson, side by side, and as they battle between one another, it's enabling the 91 of Jonathan Jennings to close in on this battle.
They're closing in as we were watching there as we'll move up to the lead here. As you can see right now, the 12 and Kevin Thompson, like you said, now the tires are starting to fall in here. You can see Adams is actually starting to lose positions here, Sam.
Able to move up as Jennings getting by Andrew St. Cour, and Cour might be losing even more spots as McMahon will dive it down low. And the 12, talked about those older tires, 106 laps in the books, and maybe have ran clean and green for about 60 to 70 of those laps. Now going to be feeling the hurt as we're into this longer run, and that cooling off phase of piecing laps has fallen away at this moment. Our top 4 drivers putting on a show up front as they continue to race back and forth. I'm also keeping my eye out for the battling going on from 9th on back. We got a cluster of about, I would say, 10 drivers, 8 drivers stacked side by side, and at any moment, I got a feeling this is going to be a wreck that we've got to watch out for as seeing Kolblitz into that outside wall, almost Brown getting involved. Now going to be seeing the likes of Bill Gentry get into the mix, which Bill's been kind of the magnet of the night. He's hoping to slot his way forward, and a few other drivers we really haven't talked about a lot. Cameron King in the mixture here.
Yeah, Cameron King's in the mixture, and also we didn't talk much about the 41 here too. He's trying to get somewhere, and then we got a whole bunch of cars. Like you said, we got like 8 to 10 cars all on top of each other here. So we'll have to see how they all play out. Oh, as Bill's getting loose here, going down into the turn here.
Getting loose, and as we were watching this incident go down, more wrecks happening around. It looks like it's Joe McKnight in the 51, contact, wrecked, and disqualified after his incident broke loose off of 4, self-spin into 1, and in one blink of an eye, we are back to caution, and this is a critical moment for Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Cour. Do they pit here, and who else will join with them?
Yeah. Oh, I heard a vehicle just blow an engine.
Around to see who that driver would be.
Yeah, I don't know who it would be.
I believe it would be Nicholas Atwood again with issues. Yeah, it is Nicholas. He pulled into pit road and his engine expired just as the field was driving on by. Other driver in pit road with required damage is Daniel Wilkerson from that's an earlier incident as you're going to see the 51 just brushes the outside wall, drifts it, but then there's the heavy contact and the disqualification, and another driver running into him there late.
Yeah, that disqualification, and then you still get damage from it. Wow. Oh, that's the internet racing.
That was going to be the driver of the 56 ran into him of Adam Gardner. That
what's the odds of that?
Hit kind of the invisible car. And in those phantom, we call them phantom wrecks. It's when a driver gets disqualified or takes a tow and you run into their invisible car. Those are the worst because you just know their car shouldn't be there. I shouldn't be getting that contact. But like you said, that's internet racing. Internet connections can be different on where your car is placed at certain times because of the internet data being flown around. And sometimes you can get some contact in. For Adam Gardner, went into pit road, got a little minor bit of damage. Doesn't look like it's too bad. The 56 will continue to race.
Right. Well, as we are under yellow here again, we'll bring up the race report here, Sam, and see now got 9 yellows, -1 for the admin, seeing a puff of smoke. So basically 8 yellows, that are racing incidents, but only 4 lead changes.
Yeah, there have not been a lot. A lot of it has been because of pit stops on why there's been lead changes. I think the only time we've seen actual on-track passes being made was actually during that run of seeing Kevin Thompson make the pass over his teammate of Andrew St. Cour, and then Jonathan Jennings actually making the pass over Kevin Thompson right before the yellow flag. And with the time of this yellow, was curious on who was going to join Thompson and St. Cour into pit road. Well, it was the majority of the drivers on the lead lap. Just 5 decide to stay out. That's going to be Nicholas Schell, Andrew Cork, as well as, Andy Cork, as well as going to be Cameron King, Gary Clune, and Kevin Powell going to be deciding to stay out. All drivers from Jonathan Jennings 6th down to 19th, where Raymond Handyman is, decide to come into pit road to get service done. But what a interesting race, we always say. I think we say that at every racetrack. That's always going to be interesting. How will the runs progress? But tonight's race being more the wackier runs, and with the name of the race being the Dag Nabbit 200, it's kind of been a little bit of Looney Tunes at some of these wrecks that we've seen so far.
That's right, Dag Nabbit. Where's my carrot?
They're hunting wabbits tonight, and we are ready for the green flag. Pace cars into pit road. And we are back to green flag action. It's going to be Kevin Powell up front. Gary Clune going to be in second. Top 3 going to be in line. It's not until you fall back to the battling for 5th and 4th place, where Cork and Gentry going to be side by side for their positioning. But Powell, he'll take a lap lead. He'll take that away. Cork bounces off the wall, and that almost clipped into Jonathan Jennings. Jennings needs to take off and get away from this traffic. Same can be said for McMahon.
And they should be able to. They have fast cars, and they got fresher tires, so they're going to work underneath him here. But that 41, he is a little loose exiting out of the turn. You can see him. It looks like the car, he's oversteering it, Sam.
Yeah, there's a slight oversteer as looks to be tight on entry, loose off because he's just holding the wheel down and pulling on it so much, and that's a nerve-wracking feeling for the drivers to his inside. As we're right on board with Cork on how this 41's been feeling, you can see how much he's turning in, trying to make sure, especially off the exit of the corner, hard to let that car just drift away. And just the tightness. Usually you want to hit that A-pillar, just turn a little bit in and let the car, the throttle more, turn you through the corners. Instead, it looks like it's a lot more wheelmanship on the 41. It's getting him around.
And you can hear, that when he's exiting, you can hear the tires slipping right there. They are slipping as he's getting back on the gas. So he's got a throttle play exiting. He can't just mash it down on fresh tires, as we see somebody up there clipping the wall and getting a little puff of smoke every once in a while. But there's something else that we don't talk about. The dynamic track weather we have going on here in iRacing, Sam. You can see it coming through this turn here, 3 and 4. They're all under the sun. We're going into 1 and 2, sun, and then bam, backstretch, all under shade.
Yeah, and it's because of in-sim time. We're currently at 9. We just crossed over to 9 p.m., so the sun's starting to set a little bit more each moment that it comes around. There's going to be a lot more shade each lap that they drive on by, but it's really the entry of turn 2 off the in the entry of turn 1 off the exit of 2 where the shade is at the current moment. Drivers still holding their breath, but up front it's Justin McMahon, Jonathan Jennings, your top 2. Justin McMahon able to get the timing of getting by some of those drivers that did not pit, enabling the 24 to have that lead position for the first time, really being ahead of Jonathan Jennings. We'll see if Jennings, we've seen him already make passes over drivers that were on older tires, but on equal footing, exactly what the 24 and the 91 are at. How will the battle for the lead settle down, as it seems like when they're on equal footing, it's been the lead driver who's gotten the clean air, has a better run, but Jonathan Jennings, once again, dives down low, but can't get the run off the exit. That's where the loss of pace has been for the 91.
Yeah, he's losing it there, but I'm also just watching Justin here now. He is now running the low line. Earlier in the race, before his pit stops, he was running the high line, and now it looks like he's got that vehicle dialed in to run the low line too here, Sam. So if that is the case, man, Jonathan, he's going to have to figure out where he's going to want to try to pounce to pass him.
Well,
or do
he'll
we
get another try.
Or
Caution,
that too.
Front stretch. It's the 10. As Steve Gerber spun around. Field was trying to get through, and it looks like it's Steve Gerber and Gary Clune exit turn 4, making some contact between one another.
We'll go back live here. Let's see if we can catch the replay here as we're going to see here, Sam.
Yeah, it's going to be this red machine on the outside, number 10, the 45 and the green. They're going to be side by side with one another battling. It's the exit of turn 4 where they really put the pressure on between one another. Just a little tight squeeze by the 10, gets clipped by the 45, and Gary Clune gets the hard contact into the wall. And for Gerber, just a simple slide and spin, and he'll keep on racing on.
Well, it can be a simple slide and spin, which is what it was there, Sam, but again, we talked about it earlier, incident points. We don't know what these guys have, and you could be getting close.
Yeah, we are only notified on our end when drivers are disqualified, when they have a black flag, when they get a required damage flag. We are not told as it would be kind of too much information given to the drivers, racing teams, and us if we were informing drivers, hey, they've got, let's hypothetically say they've got, 15 incident points right now. If you hit them hard enough, you might disqualify that driver. So that's why they don't inform people, so they don't have kind of those awkward moments of a driver intentionally hitting another to try to disqualify their competition. Those are moments you never want to have in racing, and that's why that's information we are not given until the race is over.
Good point, because some people get mad and be like, you really what? I'm going to come and hit you a couple times.
I know some racing teams that they would find that loophole and they would be willing to do it. And if someone's having a bad night, you just ship it and help your teammate get into victory lane. But tonight it's hoping to see a little bit more cleaner racing if possible, but we're inching closer and closer to the final quarter of tonight's race, and each caution flag that comes out, the intensity builds. Drivers get a little more antsy, the less chances they have to make passes shows in front of them, and we're going to see a lot more gutsier passes, maybe some gutsier bumps. Drivers know it's going to be intense, and interesting note, pit stop made by the Twisted Axle drivers. St. Coeur, Kevin Thompson, both hitting under this caution flag. So instead of staying in 3rd and 4th and maybe falling back with their slightly older tires, deciding to enter pit road, looking for the tire advantage, but they'll be restarted back in 8th and 9th place. Yeah,
well, they're hoping that maybe, after we're going to have the tire advantage, of course, but this could be, if they get a 10, 15, 20 lap run, everybody's going to come in the pit. They stay out because we've seen the tires, I don't think make a difference after we've seen, 91 lap old tires put down the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a slight advantage, right? Because of the heating cycle. I think in the short terms, they're pretty equal, but we also saw the long term. When we got a 10, 15 lap long racing run, once the fresher tires are running much quicker and able to continue on with the pace. It's just when the wheels finally get fully heated up, those on the older tires kind of feel the weakness of how much rubber's really underneath them.
Very true, very true. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if you're out there in chat, don't be afraid to chat away. We'd like to see comments out there. Also, make sure you like and subscribe if this is your first time here. And don't be afraid to hit that share button and share it to your social media platforms and friends and family, as we are back to green here at lap 135 of 200.
Back to green flag racing. Top 2 drivers, top 3 you could say, and pretty clean machines. It's going to be Justin McMahon, Jonathan Jennings, as well as Jamie Horn. Going to be those 3 drivers to watch out for. Outside, battling for 3rd, Kevin Brown going to make slight contact with Horn. But that 33 has been dealing with no front bumper. Same could be said for the 42 back in 5th place. For Koblitz, both dealing with no front bumper. Getting a little bit extra airflow to the radiator, but you're not getting the safety of if you give a bump, your engine get damaged a lot easier and quicker. You got to be careful between the 33 and the 42 as you're seeing Horn drop in line. Trying to make the march forward. It's going to be Andrew St. Coeur, who started in 8th, and he's watching drivers smash the wall. This is not a comfortable spot. If you're that 12 machine, he needs to get by these 2 drivers as soon as possible.
Yeah, but he's boxed in right now as he's going to hopefully duck low here and fall to 98 if he can make it. But he's loose, exiting out of turn the turn, and that's the second time now I've seen that 98, and now he's going to just move up on the high side, and he's going to let the 12 go by. Great driving for Jamie Hornsel.
Barnes able to hold on for now, allowing St. Court to try to run down our top 2 drivers. Now the next driver with fresh rubber trying to make his way through going to be Kevin Powell, as well as going to be seeing how Kevin Thompson can get through this mixture. The 6 as well is going to be the 93 of the next 2 drivers in my mind that I think are going to be the top 2 to try to get by the likes of Kevin Brown and Jamie Horn if possible. The older tires, they are going to be feeling the hurt here. If we stay clean and green for another 10 to 15 more laps, we're going to see the likes of St. Court as well as Thompson and Powell really show the strength of getting fresh rubber on this last yellow, as St. Court just put down the fastest lap as he runs in 3rd.
Wow, a 14.2. That's fast.
That is just this is the second driver to hit a 14.2. The other driver, Jonathan Jennings, in 2nd place. And Jennings had a chance to put down that fast time. So top 2 drivers on speed, 2nd and 3rd. Justin McMahon, though, looking for another potential great run here at here at Bristol. Continue making this march forward as field trying to give each other a little bit more space. There's less cars out there. More drivers have called it a night. Joe McKnight's called it a night. David Halsey as well, joining the likes of Whitehead, Hayes, Leclerc, Dumont, Armio, and Maydew on taking it to the garage. But side-by-side racing continuing to march forward. We talk about drivers having a chance to try to recover the best that they can. Christopher Norris, the 83 machine, qualified 3rd, was running up front for most of the night. I mean, for the first 3 races of tonight. But he then had a PC issue that forced him to take a tow with 3 laps down. He's only been able to get 1 lap back, still 2 laps down. Robert, this has got to be frustrating for a driver. He's seen so many cautions, but hasn't been able to reap any of the rewards of getting the lucky dog spot.
Very true. Yeah. You know, going down all the laps down, he just wasn't at the right place at the right time to get those laps back, because, you know, his car's virtually clean with the rest of the leaders, and he's just flying around this track here really fast right now and has a decent hot rod. But the problem is that he's 2 laps down, and we only have 50 laps to go left here, Sam.
Yeah, and just passed by 7th place runner of Kevin Brown. So it could have been a top 10 run for this 83 instead. With all the carnage that's happening around him, top 20 is the spot the 83 finds himself in. And look at some of the other drivers on battles on course just outside of our top 10. This is for 12th place in 11th between Leroy Koblitz and Cameron King. And between one another is seeing the 42 doing his best to run that outside groove. But a lot of these drivers getting caught up in some mixtures where you know, little small bumps can get you in trouble as we're in the final quarter of tonight's race. And Jamie Horn getting a little bit frisky at it too, allowing Kevin Thompson to move up to 4th position. Robert, it just continues to show that this field is, you know, spacing out. This is exactly for Justin McMahon that he wants to see this race stay clean and green so he can pull away and allow Jonathan Jennings to be kind of a blocker for the 24 as St. Court and Thompson are on the charge.
Yep, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. That's what you want to see. This now long green flag run here. This is as long as we had all night. So we'll see how this all plays out here, Sam, as we're watching him. But right now, it's I don't know if that 12 has anything for Jonathan or anything like that. But we'll have to wait and see here if we can get a long green flag run, which we have, and we'll be able to see, you know, long pace, you know, speed here.
Long pace, trying to continue to stay clean and green. And as we're been green, he said it in the chat, he's on his way to get here with our final coming up to 40 laps to go. Let's see if we can bring up in the booth. Zach, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Glad to be here. Sorry for the late.
Oh, no, Zach, you better yellow out. Oh, no, and it's Kevin Thompson.
I was just about to say, it looks like y'all get your first green flag run. But yeah, my bad.
Oh,
you
no.
need to
Zach
mute
joins
yourself.
in, and then Thompson and a lap car get into one another, and it's going to be the 38 of Raymond Handyman who will get disqualified for too many incident points for the 38. I believe that is the 5th or 6th driver that has been disqualified here tonight because of incident points being taken over, and Six Machine was just trying to get by lap traffic. And Zach, Bristol Racing, lap traffic, lead lap cars, this is bound to happen at some point of there being contact between the both.
There is. It's bound to happen at some point, like you said, and that's one of the main factors here at Bristol is talking about lap traffic, and you're going to see some of that plate. You'll see that 6 going by, and it's just going to make contact with Hanneman there, and that's going to be a major incident, like you said, knocking Hanneman out.
Hanneman gets contact, instantly blinks away. The 6 will try to move forward as majority of the drivers that were up front. Kind of surprised to see Andrew St. Cour, also going to be Justin McMahon, Jonathan Jennings hit pit road. Now the field was given only 3 sets of tires to work with, and as we're closing into going to be less than 40 laps to go, I guess take the advantage as you can take it, but placing yourself outside the top 10, I don't know if that's the call, really, with how fast some of these drivers have been up front, but it looks like Kevin Powell and a majority of the drivers yet to come into pit road, at least our top 5, already have used all of their tires. It's 6th of Gary Clune, down to 9th Kevin Thompson. They still have 1 set left in pit road to work with.
Sets of tires can be a huge advantage here, and seems with like how it's played out tonight, you know, not too many people getting to use those full usage of the tires, but they definitely got to use it there, and that really made that caution pretty vital for a lot of guys, because I'm sure they wanted to get these tires changed. But with only having 1 set left, you know, you only got 40 laps here. You're probably going to want a decent run before you want to take another set to have that advantage. But we'll just have to see, Sam. If it goes 30 laps green, the tires really do fall off a ton here with just the heat. But we'll see if anybody can use that to their advantage.
And can they stay out of trouble? Again, the field here tonight, no fast repair. We've had plenty of drivers that get disqualified because of being caught up in too many giant wrecks and too many incident points being used. See if they can keep it together as driver is able to get lap downs back. Well, first driver that will be in the lucky dog spot when we go green, Christopher Norris, still 2 laps down. Needs 2 more cautions to make sure he's not involved in any of those incidences to get back onto the lead lap. It's been an all-race journey with 40 laps to go. Thank you to everyone who's joined with us at some point here tonight as we're getting ourselves prepared to go back to green flag racing. Pace car lights are off. We're going this time by. You're watching the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series, the 2024 Season 1, race number 8 here at Bristol, the Dag Nabbit 200, as the drivers actually look to be extending it 1 more lap, as not a lot of drivers taking the wave around to try to get at least 1 lap back to get back closer to a chance to be on the lead lap for themselves. But Zach, I know you were trying to watch the race when you could. Anything about this race that you've noticed while on your drive over here?
Well, you know, I got actually some practice this week and got to see, you know, how the cars drove myself a little bit, and just to see how you could manipulate it as a driver, so to say. And I feel like there was a ton of manipulation you could have if you had a long run, but it doesn't seem like we had very many of them. We just had, of course, the longest one we've had all night. So if we go green here to the end, it's still going to be some little bit of tire management there, because I'll tell you, it is amazing how much the fall off will happen if you overwork those tires. But if you get it right in the sweet spot, it is pretty much a fine balance. So we'll see if anybody can play this out. But it seems like a lot of drivers having a tough time keeping it straight tonight. Very tough track.
I wanted to say thank you to the amazing sponsors of Shoney's, as well as Group 6 and Fanatics for being the major sponsors that help out here for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series and all of the Doghouse Racing League races, as we are back for the Dag Nabbit 200 here at Bristol, and the drivers with fresh tires, fast cars, trying to make the march through. A little bit of contact going around for St. Cour, as well as going to be seen the 6 machine of Kevin Thompson side by side as they push through, getting by the 42 machine, and oh no, it goes awry. McMahon as well as Thompson. I mean, that's going to be St. Cour's involved with that one, and somehow Jonathan Jennings is okay. Well, let's pile in a little bit later. Let's grab some more incident points as Eric Anderson gets in late.
Tough incident there, and McMahon there, major damage, and just seems like some cold tires and a little bit of close action off the exit of 4 there to the contact to this 12 we'll get to see on this replay. And that's all it takes, Sam, and this track becomes a blockage, and you have huge moments like that as you see St. Cour here.
This is, I believe, it's going to be too far back. Restart by 4, and that brought out the caution, so we'll try a different way. Yes, go back and see a little bit further on back, but you can see the carnage already kind of mounting up. Drivers willing to make some big moves. St. Court goes to the outside, trying to get by Colblitz. Thompson also making these moves, and right there, slight contact on Colblitz, sends the 12 down into McMahon. McMahon tries to keep it off from other drivers, but there's just nowhere to go. Adam Gardner going to be the first driver to pile in. Simon's going to be slowing up, but sadly for the 27, he was able to stay away from making any more contact, but late contact, unlikely to happen. Machaca gets hit by Eric Anderson late.
Man, oh man, that's classic Bristol for you there. You know, you're minding your business, and then something happens a couple rows ahead of you, and you're the one that's majorly involved with it there for the case of Justin McMahon. And you see that front clip completely torn off. He's going to have to go get that car worked on back on pit road. But Kevin Powell leading the way, Andy Cork here in second, Steve Gerber in third. I tell you what, Sam, this grouping here, this is made it interesting play out for this race, how it could play.
It certainly has, and also with the timing of this yellow, allowing some drivers, like you said, coming to get damage repair. Might see some drivers think about maybe using a set if you've got a set in pit road. Might be a little bit too late to make that switch up at this point, but drivers up front, you've seen the lead driver always get a great launch for these restarts, and we get a lot of cautions that mounts up. I mean, this could be laying in the hands of Cork or Powell if we get enough late cautions, because like we've seen here, we've seen it 3 times this season already. Overtime attempts, we only get 1 attempt if we get a late caution in race, and we've seen every restart, the leader is able to keep the lead for at least a lap, if not both laps, if we stay green. So if you're that lead driver, that's the ultimate prize that you want to be at if we get a late yellow.
It definitely is that ultimate prize, Sam. So we'll see who's able to reach out and grab it, so to say. But interesting to see with that 33 there. No front end. Completely, knocked off, and still able to do somewhat competitive lap times here up front. So he's probably going to hope that we get a few more yellows to sprinkle in to give us, a few more of these caution laps to help out with that car. But man, oh man, Bristol is definitely taking victim to a few people out there, as I was getting to watch. And you and Robert were doing such a good job of giving the excitement there, because man, this place was filled up with some wreck race cars at some point.
Yeah, we've had a couple of gridlock traffic moments of drivers piling into one another, and we're hoping that we don't see too many of those. I know one driver that wants to see a caution. That's Christopher Norris in the 83, finally able to get his lucky dog back. He's down to just 1 lap down. He's been 3 laps down since lap 4 of the race. It's been a grueler to get back on the lead lap, and if he gets a caution, he's not involved with it, he'll be back on the lead lap for that 83 machine, as pace car pulls off into pit road, and the Dag Nabbit 200 is back underway, as Kevin Powell going to be up front. Cork not able to get really the launch he was hoping for. It's going to give an opening for the 10 of Steve Gerber to the inside, and the fast drivers, well, they loom back in 5th, 6th position. Thompson, Jennings, as well as St. Cour trying to set up to get by some of these drivers in front of them, but just not finding the opening at this moment.
They need to find that, like you said, that opening. Look at this Thompson and St. Cour. They're looking for any chance. You got Jennings right behind. They know this trio here, this could be the battle for the win if it comes down to it. They got to be careful. We just saw how easy it is to get caught up in an incident. All it takes is one mistake from these guys, and their race is going to be over and done with.
Hold on tight, and it's Kevin Thompson's going to find the first opening to try to bounce to the outside. Jennings going to be following in suit, but they weren't able to get to the outside row of Gary Clune. Clune continues to block and defend the 45 machine, just placing himself perfectly to hold back the 6th. And now it's going to give a chance for side-by-side racing for the drivers for 5th and 6th position. Jennings almost forcing the issue, as they are all on top of one another. Kevin Powell able to pull away, but it's clogged up from 2nd on back of where to go. And at this moment, if you're Gary Clune, it might be advantageous to try to hold back, stay side by side with Cork, but he's driven too far away. Thompson's at a spot, trying to move forward.
Oh man, this is some great short track action right here. Fresher tires, older tires, trying to hold him off with track position. As you can see, that 45, he's doing everything he can to bottleneck this group here with that 41 up top and that 6 down low. And Jennings, Thompson, and St. Cour not able to find their way around. This is allowing Kevin Powell to drive away.
23 laps to go as they cross the line, and every lap so crucial. The gap from first to second is 1.3 seconds. It continues to mount up as they stay side by side. And Pal is loving the action behind him, but some drivers aren't going to be as patient as seen Andrew St. Cyr just dive bomb his way to not allow the 91 to go low as they all stay, again, side by side. And Gary Clune, I mean, he has done a fabulous job continuing to stay side by side, but there's the opening for Thompson. He doesn't take it. They'll continue to stack side by side, 4 rows deep.
This is not helping these new tires. They need to get going. They still have time, in my opinion, to go run down that leader with the fresher tires, but they got to make something happen sooner or later, because if one of them gets through, the others can say sayonara to that one, because he's going to be gone. Oh no, the 98 way up the track, a horn. That's going to put Jennings in the middle, 3 wide. He's now going to take hold of that position and try to follow St. Cyr underneath the 41 and the 10. And now
there's the opening.
Just the 45 separating them.
And Gary Clune gets loose, slides away. Cork stays high, too slow. And now the 3 fastest drivers on track have got some opening. And it's time to go hunting to run down Kevin Powell. The 93 is sitting duck up front. And it's Kevin Thompson leading the charge. He's got Andrew St. Cyr right behind him. And Cyr's got the freshest tires. Took 2 under that last caution. And now on the charge to go forward. Jonathan Jennings went with 4 tires. Thompson's got slightly older tires with the 6 machine. He has also been so fast up front, but I don't think he's got anything to hold back these fast drivers behind him.
Oh, no, I don't think he's going to have much to hold him back, Sam, because it's about a 0.4 of a second difference. And with 17 laps now to go, that's plenty of time to run down Kevin Powell up front. And right here, it's going to be the 91 taking control of that top spot with the fresh tires. And now he's going to try to track down Powell.
Trying to run down Powell, who just has nowhere really to go. He's just going to be running the middle lane for the 93, banking on a caution flag to maybe give him a chance here as we got 15 laps to go. And Jonathan Jennings, in a blink of an eye, give the 91 the lead. Just nothing Powell could do with a just 30 lap difference in tires. Jennings proving why getting fresh tires is worth it, but Powell had already used his 3 sets. He had to just stay out with what he had, and for nothing. Now it's just the duel, and a caution flag resets him, and since Justin McMahon spun around, chaos on the entry of turn 3. Leaders have to slow down, and more drivers disqualified from the race.
Oh man, more and more drivers, like you said, getting disqualified, and this is setting up for an interesting finish now, as we could have a few drivers with a set of tires maybe possibly to come down and take, but we'll get to see here what happened to this 24 here, Sam.
And it looked like Justin McMahon and Nancy running, getting closer to Kevin Brown and Michael Menchaca. Those drivers are riding on top of one another. Actually, oddly enough, this is going to be just a self-spin. 24 self-spins it in front of the field, and then watch out, here comes traffic just plowing in is Kevin Brown. And I believe for Menchaca, he was caught up in another incident as his night will be over.
Big hits there for a few guys, and Brown there coming in with the heaviest of the hits to that 24, and it was an awkward spin for McMahon. I don't know if the car got knocked out of gear or what. It just seemed like it broke loose right down the midway down the backstretch, and very interesting. But there you go. You see Christopher Norris. He gets his lap back now, following a lead lap, like you said, Sam. He had, I think, monitor issues early in the race, had to tow from that 3 laps down. And when you go 3 laps down at Bristol, you know that's a big trouble sign, because plenty of other drivers who go a lap down and take away those chances of the lucky dog. But it took 190 laps almost, but he's back.
And he is back, and from being at one moment all the way down in 33rd position, 3 laps down, now up to 13th on the lead lap, and he'll be coming into pit road trying to use his final set of tires for Christopher Norris, and then he'll try his attempt here for a late charge to grab just a handful more positions. Up front is Jonathan Jennings, Andrew St. Cyr going to be your top 2. Powell will still be in 3rd, Horn in 4th. And you look at drivers that came into pit road, Kevin Thompson, Cork, Norris, those are going to be your 3 drivers. Are going to be on the lead lap, seeing what maybe if Kevin Thompson has a miracle to try to drive up through this field.
Oh, this is going to set up a very interesting ending here, Sam. If we get a, if we get a good amount of green flag laps here, and then we get, perfect case scenario for someone who's pit personally would be you get about 8 green flag laps here, and then 2 to go, or whatever we go green here. You get as many as you can, and then when we get to 2 to go, that yellow flag comes out at that point because we only have 1 green white checkered attempt, and you're going to want as many of these green flag laps as you possibly can to have the most time available to you.
When we go green, we get that quick caution, 5 to 6 lap window. If we get a caution with 6 to go, 5 to go, that could be sending us into overtime. We get 1 overtime attempt. So these drivers recognizing we probably have just, if we get quick caution, 2 more restarts, counting this one that we're going to be having here just in a moment. Yeah, well, those drivers with fresh rubber climb through the field, not expecting really a lot of a huge launch initially. They may need us to go clean it from here on out, but for Jonathan Jennings, he's willing to get a caution, maybe 2, send us into overtime. The 91 has been perfect on these launches. No one has been close to predicting when the 91 is going to take off, and Andrew St. Cyr is going to have to try to figure out that perfect timing if he wants a chance to win here tonight. Thank you so much to everyone joining with us here this evening. My name is Sam Dyer. I had Robert Moyer Jr. up in the broadcast booth for majority of the race. Zach Hall was able to join with us here for the final quarter, and it's time for us to crown a winner. After a 2-week break, the drivers have had a tough one here at Bristol, but man, it is going to be a fun one as the Dag Nabbit 200 is back underway as we've had 8 laps to go here tonight. Jonathan Jennings going to be taking the launch. St. Cyr did not get rolling, and the 91 is loving this in his mirror.
That he is. He sees open track ahead and battling cars behind. That's exactly what you want to see here at Bristol if you're Jennings. But now Cyr has gotten past, same for Horn, and they'll see if they have any shot in the track down that 91.
Any chance? Looking also for myself on drivers that are trying to make the march forward. It's the 6th machine to Kevin Thompson. He's got the freshest rubber, trying to make his way forward, but it's kind of a wall that he's got in front. Needs to sneak his way through, and Jonathan Jennings just put down the fastest lap of the race, a 14.245, able to mess the time that St. Cyr had earlier in the race. But Kevin Thompson, just a wall, nowhere to go, 5 laps to go, and he needs to get by this grouping of drivers. May have to risk it going 3 wide if he wants a chance to win here tonight. 4 laps to go. The 6 sees the opening. He ships his way forward, but once again boxed in on the outside. They're spinning and wrecking in the back. Will they stay clean and green? Looks to be Christopher Norris and others pile in. No yellow flag is thrown. 3 laps to go, and the admins will throw the yellow.
Oh, man. This is going to change everything because Thompson got up to 4th.
Kevin Thompson's going to have a second chance, and it looks to be contact between Christopher Norris and Andrew Court that get each other into one another. And the admins decided, you know what, we're just going to throw a yellow for this incident. And Norris was closing in on the 41. Again, pressure tires go to the 83. Finally on the lead lap. Finally has a chance to really get aggressive for the first time this race. But off the exit of turn 4, just a little tap, and away goes the 83. They slide, spin, hard contact. The admins decide, you know what, let's throw a yellow. Just feeling like it was better off throw a yellow instead of maybe an aftermath wreck.
That definitely, I think, was a good shout, I guess, for that decision there because, man, big hits there for a few guys and definitely somewhat of a track blocker for a few. So Jennings probably not liking that, of course, because this is going to allow now that 6 to restart in 4th. And, I mean, with the time available, he might have an opportunity, but I think if you're Jennings, you got to restart on the bottom here, Sam, just to not allow him to not time that restart with the leader.
Yeah, this is that, cat and mouse game. Do you want to test Kevin Thompson's speed, or do you want to put a slower driver in front of him on this restart? This restart will be our overtime attempt. It is a green-white checkered. If we go green, we get a caution under our first lap. The race will end under yellow. We get the white flag. The race will end under green flag conditions, and anything goes on that last lap. Bump a driver, spin them out. No yellow will be thrown. These drivers know what factor they're in, and this will be the final restart of the night. There's no second, third opportunity. This is it. The last restart, and Zach, the pressure of knowing this is the last restart. The drivers up front, they know you cannot cause any wheel spin or a factor that could cost you positions.
That's right, Sam. You got to have a good launch here. You got one shot at this thing. If you light the tires up here, it don't matter because it's going to be pretty much game over at that point for yourself. You're not going to have an opportunity to bounce back. This is 2 laps, and it's going to be the person who can do those 2 laps the fastest. Unless we get a caution right off the rip, then it's going to be who can get to the lead quick enough. So we'll have to see. I think Jennings is in a prime position, especially just the speed he showed right there, you know, from that last restart running his fastest laps. This cooldown should help those tires come right back alive.
But to help him out, drivers already slotting in a position where they know they're going to be expecting the pace car lights off this go around. Thank you again for joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you haven't already, well, this is your last time to do it. Might as well share the broadcast for the final restart of the night. Who is going to grab the win for the Dag Nabbit 200 here at Bristol? The race after a 2-week break. After tonight, next week, the drivers head to Texas, Richmond, Talladega, Dover, and Kansas. The next 5 races is going to be a fun one you don't want to miss the rest of the season, as this is the marking of the start of the second half of the season here tonight. There's no playoffs. It's all about consistent points. We might have a new points leader after tonight's race, with Michael Hayes finishing back in 29th position after caught up in early wrecks. It's those critical moments. Who will find themselves with a win here tonight at Bristol? The Dag Nabbit 200. Here we go, the last restart of the night. Jonathan Jennings are going to be about a car length ahead as they head down into turn number 1. Here we go, Zach, as they exit at 2.
Here we go. Jennings with a great launch out of 2, but Thompson with the better launch there as there's smoke down the back straightaway. It ain't going to matter as they come out of 4.
Some drivers going to get disqualified with the incident that got caught up with one another. That's Jonathan Jennings and Adam Gardner, but we get the white flag. Thompson to the outside. Thompson's going to have one more chance. He's trying to rip the straightaway down into turn number 1, sticking low, but Jonathan Jennings has the better run. Jennings back to victory lane, and he'll tie up the score. 3-3 on the win column between Thompson's and Jennings.
What a job by Jennings to hold off the fresher tires, but that car lights out super fast there at the end, and he was able to get it done, saying when they are all on equal tires and get ahead of all of them, and that's where he really won this race.
And what a run. Top 3 drivers, I think no surprise. Jennings, Thompson, St. Coeur. But the driver finishing in 5th place, Cameron King, didn't talk about him much, but the 92 survives through the chaos. Our biggest mover, up 21 positions. Congratulations to King getting a top 5 finish, but Jonathan Jennings, talked about it. He is solid on these restarts, got the jump that was necessary, had the big enough lead, and he'll take the win here at Bristol. As we will step away, when we come back, we'll talk to our top 3 in a spotlight driver, get their thoughts on the night. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me up the booth is Zach Hall, and running productions and commentating tonight was Robert Moyer Jr. As you got to see the ending of the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series race of the Dag Nabbit 200 at Bristol. As we go to victory lane to talk to Jonathan Jennings, who's going to find himself equally in the fight. 3 wins apiece go to Kevin Thompson, and now Jonathan Jennings. Jonathan, what a run for yourself. This 91 machine just looked on fire from the start of the night. How are you feeling, though, coming away with the win here this evening?
I'm a little hot, but that's a long race. A lot of good racing there at the end.
Definitely was some good racing there, Jonathan. Man, congrats on getting yourself your 3rd win of the season there. And, with all the cautions sprinkled in, this track very high when it comes to tire wear and fall off. If you really let it go qualifying the speed, how hard was it to, know when to go with all the cautions that were coming out?
Yeah, it was hard because like I think that first run we didn't pit for the longest time, and I think I was hitting the quickest lap, like 60 or 70 laps in, and finally once the window opened for me to make it the rest of the way, I pitted. But I really didn't want to go back there in all that mess.
It certainly did look like a mess, Jonathan. Coming off a 2-week break, what was it like coming back off a 2-week break, coming straight into Bristol where you knew the chaos was going to be high?
Oh well, I'm coming back from a 3-week. I missed Auto Club, unfortunately, but feels good. I practiced a good bit for this one.
Well, certainly shown.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I would make it. Took on a few extra things, and Thursday's a little harder for me now, but hopefully I can keep going like I did today.
We hope so too. Well, Jonathan, before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
You guys for the great broadcast. Daniel and all the admins for everything they do every week to put these things together. And the series sponsors, Shoney's, Group 6, Fanatic, and Hunter Design Shop.
Well, that will be your winner here tonight. The 91 machine of Jonathan Jennings. Enjoy this one, Jonathan, and hopefully we'll be seeing you next week at Texas.
All right, thank you.
As we move from victory lane, we go down to 2nd place. We're going to talk to a driver who made the charge, almost was able to rip his way from the top all the way back further in the field to the win, but just coming up a position shy. We've got Kevin Thompson with us. Kevin, 2nd place. I mean, you've been on fire for the last couple of races. How are you feeling, though, coming away with a 2nd place finish?
Stressed out. Especially here at Bristol after the wreck at 157. I knew if I'd stayed out and get a late caution, I had an extra set of tires, and it showed 12th to 2nd with a green-white checker. I wished I had a couple more laps. I might have got Jonathan, but congrats to him for the win. The car was a rocket. I wished we would have had a long run because my car and my teammates' cars were set up for the long run. But other than that, I'll take a 2nd place after the last 2 races and just keep the momentum going on to the next couple of races.
It was a great run there, Kevin, man. Congrats on another fantastic run up here. The thing you talked about long runs there, how tough was it to, not all, get out of that long run mode when there's, caution after caution, really kind of not knowing how long you are going to go?
Well, yeah, we talked about it over our Discord channel that each caution brings out more cautions. We said, okay, we're not going to save any tire anymore. Just go hard because it's like a 10 to 15 lap run and then the caution come out. Other than that, we just try to keep clean and make the race and finish.
Well, you certainly finished in a great spot with Michael Hayes having struggles here tonight. You may be turning into our points leader heading into Texas next week. What is it like heading into these next couple of races? We got Texas, Richmond, Talladega. Those are your next 3 races after just coming off of a 2-week break.
Yeah, and in Doghouse, when they used to run trucks on Tuesdays, Texas was really good to me. Richmond, I won there a couple years, seasons back, and Talladega, we know how twisted axle is on plate track, so we'll get it done, and we'll keep working at it.
Well, we can't wait to see how yourself and your team perform for these next couple of weeks. Kevin, congratulations on a second place finish, and the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, shout out to my teammates at Twisted Axle, everybody that watches each and every week. B-Mac, my father, y'all putting on a broadcast each and every week. Very, very good. And Daniel for putting us on.
Well, that will be your second place finisher here tonight, Kevin Thompson. Congratulations, Kevin. Enjoy this one, and good luck next week at Texas.
Thank you.
From second place, we go down to another Twisted Axle driver coming away in third position. Worked all the way through some of that madness, but wasn't able to scave away with the win. We've got ourselves Andrew St. Cour with us. Andrew, what a run for yourself. Coming away third. Yourself and Kevin Thompson had a pretty roller coaster event at times, trying to get through the field in the middle of this race. How are you feeling, though, coming away with a top 3 finish?
Pretty pumped to really be able to put on a show like that. I think for the most part, it was really good racing. We had some untimely cautions at times, and then there was some pit strategy came into play on, do you stay out, do you not? There was some weird stuff going on with iRacing and showing pit road open, and then as you leave, it closes immediately, and it says you left a. It's almost like what happens at Phoenix sometimes with the pit cycle, where you kind of get either you get black flagged or you get down a lap or aired, and that was happening quite a bit tonight, and nobody could really figure out why. That was unfortunate, but yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think Jonathan, he was so fast early, and I know Kevin and I, we were just, and Justin as well. They were just unreal how fast they were and how long they could keep that going for. I just didn't think that the tires would hold up that long on them, but we really didn't get a long enough green flag run. It would seem like every time we stayed out for a lot of laps on tires, but we just kept cooling them down. So it was hard to know, whether we were going to actually have anything for them if it went green for an extended period of time. So a lot of fun tonight.
Definitely looked like a lot of fun out there. That last half, you guys were definitely having a great battle up there up front, Andrew. So congrats on third, man, and bringing it home there. But, we had shorter runs. A lot of times you come to these races probably expecting a little bit of a longer green flag run, so you kind of build yourself towards that. Do you feel like you had to touch the car at all tonight, or did you ever have to make an adjustment for these shorter runs?
I did make some adjust. I did make an adjustment, 2 adjustments. I made an adjustment on my first pit stop, just for taking less fuel, just to loosen the car up a bit, to compensate for that. And because the car was so neutral, it just felt. I mean, I was just able to get into the corner, roll the bottom, basically just ease on throttle, and never got loose. I had a couple loose sensations when I just had a little too much wheel into it on exit, but that's driver error, not the car. But yeah, and then at the end I tried a 2-tire strat, to try to get ahead of, and I did. I came out ahead of Jonathan and Justin, but we were behind, what was it, 7 or 8, 30 to 50, old tire cars in front of us, I'm trying to say, and we just got caught up in that. But yeah, a couple small adjustments. The track, I think, was kind of getting cooler throughout the night, so we kind of did that. But yeah, they were easy adjustments, but we never really got. I wish I had have probably made an adjustment to loosen the car up more at the end. But anyway, it's what do you just don't know sometimes, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly don't. And it was a blast to watch yourself and your teammate, all the top contenders working your way through traffic. You guys had to go into pit road. But Andrew, congratulations on third. And before we let you go, the floor's now yours for any shout out.
Yeah, thanks guys for I'm glad to be back. I missed Auto Club. I'm glad the team had a good week. I think Kev got the win there. So that was awesome. And, it's kind of weird not racing for 3 weeks. But, glad to be back tonight. Really looking forward to next week. Are we at Texas next week? I think we are, aren't we?
We are at Texas next week.
Yeah,
And then it's Richmond
yeah.
and Talladega. So the next 3 are going to be fun.
Yeah, exactly. And all those are tracks that I'm going to enjoy. and I think we all will. So it'd be nice to get to 1.5 miles and see what we have there. And but yeah, once again, thanks you guys. Thanks Daniel and the Min team. Thanks to my team at Twisted Axle. And thanks for those watching tonight.
Well, thank you for giving us a great show to cover.
Thank you very much.
That will be your third place finisher of Andrew St. Cour. Congratulations on third place, and good luck next week at Texas.
Thank you.
As we move away from third place, we go down to seventh. Going to be one of our bigger movers of the night. And at one moment, had to sneak his way through probably one of the biggest wrecks of the evening, and the seas kind of parted for him. Kevin, it is Sam and Zach up in the booth. Congratulations on a top 10 finish. I know you had to take a late pit stop on those tires, but Kevin, how are you feeling after looked like a decent run here tonight?
Yeah, man, I feel good about it. I've been away for at least 6 months. So this was my first race in 6 months. I was nervous coming in, especially with it being Bristol and how the race goes. But you know, we had some things go our way in the beginning of the race that helped me get into the top 10, and then I ended up getting caught up in one wreck after I made it through the big one, and I got a little bit of wheel damage. It got me off pit cycle with the leaders, and it was just kind of fell to the cautions right there. You know, when I got out front and got the big lead, I knew they would be coming as soon as they got through the traffic. So I was hoping for cautions then, but at the same time, not.
Definitely a great return for yourself, Kevin, man. So congrats on you know, an excellent run here tonight, up to 7th for yourself here in the ending of things. But you know, when you see yourself out front, you know you don't have those extra tires and you're hoping for cautions. Were you conserving anything, or are you trying to build the biggest gap possible to run away from those guys?
I was trying to build the biggest gap. Man, honestly, I know y'all probably seen me tap the wall a couple times. I was pushing it so hard off the corner.
It makes sense. You got to push it as aggressively as you can. Kevin, we've got ourselves Texas, Richmond, Talladega coming up. Is this officially you're back for the rest of the season, or are you going to be running part-time for the rest?
I hope to be back the rest of the season. I do have some issues with my wheel right now, so I'm just waiting for the labels to have it sent off. But I hope to be back full time for the season. I'll probably definitely make Texas, and I hope to make Richmond. They're more my best tracks.
Well, we can now wait to see how you're going to perform for the next 2 weeks then. Kevin, before we let you go, though, the floor's now yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I want to shout out Doghouse and all the admin team for stepping up while I was away. Shout out to my brother and for getting the win tonight. ESR and you guys for the broadcast each week, all our sponsors, and you know, everyone that helps keep this thing going. I think Doghouse is an amazing racing league, and you know, I'm glad to be back and glad to get into it.
I can agree that this is an amazing league. I know we're enjoying covering it each and every week. Congratulations, Kevin, on your finish in 7th place. Enjoy it, and good luck next week at Texas.
Thank you.
Well, that will be the 93 machine of Kevin Powell, going to be moving away with a 7th place finish. As we take a look at what our unofficial results are going to be here tonight. Jonathan Jennings, 91 machine, gets his 3rd win of the season for the Dag Nabbit 200. No, not a lot of people wanted to get away from this racetrack. For some, it felt like a Looney Tunes race, but for the 91, victory was assured. Kevin Thompson going to be taking a 2nd place finish for himself, as well as going to be seeing Andrew St. Cour in 3rd. We get the results up here, as well as in 4th place, Jamie Horn, a great, just stable recovery run for himself. Cameron King, our biggest mover of the night, in 5th. Gary Clune in 6th. With the way that he was defending, I'm surprised he didn't get himself spun, but it works out for a top 10 finish. Kevin Powell going to be our 3rd biggest mover, going to finish 7th. Steve Gerber going to be finishing in 8th. 9th, Christopher Norris, we're documenting his struggles early, able to come away with a top 10 finish for the 83. Then it's Leroy Koblitz, caught up in a lot of wrecks and messes, but somehow sneaks away with a top 10 finish.
And as you look through the rest of the finishing order, you know, a wild night for a few people out there. I know a few drivers definitely wanting to come away with some better finishes, but I know there's a few that sticks out of my mind. It's just with some of these guys getting, DQ'd. You got the likes of Daniel Wilkerson even back in 23rd. Justin McMahon up there was up front at one point in 18th, and the points leader coming in tonight was going to finish 29th, Michael Hayes. So big points lost tonight for that 22 team. Like Sam said earlier, at 6 might be taking the points lead with this possible finish. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. But a wild night here at Bristol, Sam.
Certainly a wild night. I mean, Michael Hayes, that's going to be the big thing. He was the only driver coming into tonight's race that finished top 10 every race. Well, that streak is over on race number officially 7, counting from Daytona's race to now. But crazy to think how this race concludes. A lot of messes, a lot of wrecks, but once again, an overtime attempt at the end of the night. I believe that's our 4th of the season. And these drivers, they're liking making it intense. I know last season, a lot more green flag racing, not a lot of overtime attempts needed. But I gotta say, Zach, I mean, entertainment-wise, I'm loving these overtime attempts at the end of these races.
Oh, I completely agree, Sam. It's definitely racks up the excitement a little bit, and it's gave us some exciting finishes where we never know what's going to happen with the strategy even, and some guys have been dominating races and not won them because of those green light check-ins. So it's definitely spice things up a little bit. I'm sure we'll see more of that to come this season.
As we are going to be giving ourselves a look at what's coming up as the session of the race. If they had gone green we had any more cautions, we might not have been able to finish this race under green flag conditions. But next week, the schedule gonna look very different in the next upcoming weeks, because for Monday night, the ISRC Truck Series, they are officially in the final countdown of a handful of races left before the playoffs begin for the ISRC Layer Productions Truck Series. Tuesday night, this upcoming Tuesday, gonna be the last race of the season, crowning a championship for the BRB Racing League. It's their inaugural season. It looks like Gavin Rogers is the heavy favorite, but could we see someone else sneak away with the championship later on? Wednesday night, sadly, no more WSSR for a little bit. They just concluded their championship run. Benjamin Nelson stealing the championship last night. It was a fabulous race that we hope to have uploaded here very shortly. Then next week, we're right back to more racing action for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. After a 2-week break, we're back to the full swing. Texas, our next race. Cannot wait for it. As Shoney's Doghouse Racing League, it's been a fun one to watch. It's been a joy of us here at the broadcast booth to cover each and every week, because we never know what type of racing we're going to see. But man, next week, I think it's going to be a fun one. Again, crowning a champion on Tuesday night. Might be seeing some drama on Monday, because I know they're ratcheting up their drama meter a little bit more. But ultimately, Zach, tonight, an odd one I know for yourself, joining up late, but I think for the drivers as well, not the Bristol race they were hoping to see.
That's for sure. I think a lot of guys, like I said, coming in the interviews right there, we thought we were going to see long runs. They didn't get to see one of those, unfortunately, to the extent they were hoping their setups would, start to take hold of. But I tell you, Bristol, you never know what can happen. I mean, I tell you, I didn't know if I was going to make it. So I'm just glad I was able to come in for the last quarter of the race and get to see how those last 50 laps really played out. And excited next week, here next Thursday, that I'm going to get a full race in with us here.
Get to see Texas for 120 laps. How will Shoney's Doghouse League come to a conclusion for that race next week? I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. Mile and a half racing next Thursday. But for us here tonight, thank you for joining with us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Robert Moyer Jr., who did a little double duty as well for Zach Hall, and everyone else at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for joining with us. If you haven't already, if you like watching our broadcast, remember to hit that like button. It lets us know that you're enjoying the broadcast that we're giving you, as well as if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Every subscription helps to get our viewers out there and get more views on the races, enables the leagues to get more sponsors. It helps the ecosystem as a whole. So we hope that you're able to subscribe if possible, and share our broadcast when you're able. But for tonight's race, it's going to go to Jonathan Jennings. Overtime attempt for the 91. He'll secure his 3rd win of the season. Now, those drivers, heard it in the interviews, they're excited to go mile and a half racing at Texas next week. But for us, we will step away, enjoy our weekend. Our next broadcast is going to be Monday night, ISRC Truck Series Racing. Where will the drama lie? We'll find out on Monday night for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.